Okay, let's call to order the new Palestine meeting for Wednesday, March 15th. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing is our roll call of attendees tonight. Angie?
Here.
Randy?
Here.
Clint? Here. And then Chris and Bill are absent. Okay, our first item on the agenda is claims. We have approval of claims 24,916 through 24,982. Is there a motion to approve those claims?
I make a motion to approve claims 24916 to 224,982.
I'll second.
It's been seconded, and is there any discussion on any of those claims?
I would like to know where we're at with the lawsuit. I see the bill in here for another $6,000. Didn't know if you've been updated yet on where we were at.
Well, the only thing I got was an email about a month ago that told what was going on, and other than that, no.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're not racking up attorney fees.
Oh, we are. Not gonna lie about it.
Okay.
Anything else, Andy, on those?
That was the only one I had.
Randy?
No.
All those in favor of approving claims number 24,916 to 24,982, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So they're approved. Okay, next item on the agenda is the public comments on stuff that's on the agenda, but I don't think there's anything on the agenda tonight to have public comments on. Is it on the agenda?
Adoption of minutes.
Okay.
So I had a question after the March 1st.
Wait a minute. You're going to have to give us your name and address, Dale. I mean, we all know who you are.
Wagner, South
Okay.
100 West.
Yeah.
So at the March 1st meeting, there was no vote taken for a temporary president. So I had sent an email out, and the lawyer responded and said that there was a discussion early in the meeting, and that nobody objected, so Niemeyer proposed that he himself would preside over the meeting. I wrote the lawyer back and said, I was at the same meeting, I saw the YouTube video, if you could show me where that is on the timeline, and I never heard back, so I don't think this actually occurred as the lawyer wrote it out. So I'm still curious if that's something, our ordinance, he made the comment that the state code doesn't require that, but our ordinance says we follow Robert's Rules of Order, which requires that. So I'm curious why it wasn't done, and will it be followed in the future?
Well, I read his email, and he validated what they did. I wasn't here, so I don't know.
Right, he validated what he did, and he's not here to defend his word.
Right.
I'm not going to challenge without him here, but I'll say from my side of it, I didn't see it occur, and I'm curious if that could be addressed maybe in the future. So either we're going to follow it or we're not going to follow it. Also, I do have a comment about the email addresses, because it seems seems like a lot of times people tell me they didn't get my emails, or they did get my emails, but now they're like two different emails. So I don't know which ones the town is using. On one website is one email. Sometimes I get emails from other town members that are using the new email. So if we could get that on the same page, or if you are using the old emails, copying over to the new ones for a while, I don't know what's going on, but it would help with some of the communication. Thank you.
Okay. We'll have to address that when our lawyer's here. 'Cause all I know is the information he sent us, and he said it was okay. Next on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes, and I don't think we could do that because we only
I'm the
have,
only one that's here.
we only have two people here, or one person here that's here, right? Okay,
But
so
hang on.
that'll have to be put off till the next meeting.
I just want to make note that they did change the public comment scale. And so from now on, they'll put full names in there instead of just saying president.
I saw that.
Okay, so the next item is old business, and the only thing we have under that is we have to make public record the new appointees of Chris Warnemont to the Planning Commission and Terry Reed to the Economic Development Commission, so we just want it for public record.
Have we replaced anybody else in the RDC?
No, we haven't done anything like that, Angie.
We need to replace Billy Meyer off of the RDC for the conflict of interest.
Well, I was gonna ask the lawyer if he was here tonight, exactly what the procedure is. And without him here, I mean, I've read the state law, but sometimes when I read it, it doesn't seem to come out the same as when they read it. So,
Because it's how you read it.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
So we need to find that out, yes. So we don't have anything under new business, and the next item on the agenda is department reports. The first up is the police department. Jesse?
Nothing.
Okay. Town manager, Jim Robinson.
Just a little, on April 5th, our meeting, we'll have a long meeting there. We'll have a couple things for the planning. I've sent the information out. One of them's going to be color development, and the other one, Willow Ridge, will be back. So, for secondary approval. Just
Are you going to have paperwork for us by that time? Because you said no plan's been provided at this time.
there is no plans yet for the color development. They're just doing an annexation and asking for a zoning change.
Okay.
Is there going to be,
There'll be representatives here for
okay,
color development, yes.
is there going to be any other meetings called that night, the planning commission or the
Yeah, Willow Ridge.
planning commission?
So what's the Willow Ridge?
The secondary approval. I think it's going to be on the 5th. We'll have to look at the dates, but
And color development's the senior living facility?
yeah, it's a senior living, yeah.
What else you got, Jim?
Hey, that's it.
Easter egg hunt.
That's right.
Steve?
I don't have anything.
Okay. What do you got for us, Yvonne?
Only one thing of any consequence, you've already approved it in the claims, but voice systems, the key fund program and key asset program is up for renewal. Key billing. And I've got their little contract, that's a yearly deal that needs to be just signed by Clinton. This gives us access to the payroll program, just access to the data. We're not actually using it. That's $713 for access for the year. And I think we need to keep that up until the last payroll that was done through that system is audited, which I'm kind of expecting that that'll be sometime this year, early this year. We haven't heard anything yet, but I'm expecting that, so we have an audit at minimum every 4 years. So, and we haven't been audited in 4 years, so we're expecting that that'll come around for shortly. So that's on there, and then key fund is $3,060, and billings for utility billing is $3,030. So I've got that.
Okay. I had a question for you, Ron.
Okay.
I had an email from the opioids implementation administrator DocuSign, and when you hit it, it sends you to someplace else that I'd never been able to find. So have we taken care of that?
Tell me again what that is?
Opioids implementation administrator via DocuSign.
Okay, good. I'm glad you got that, because I haven't received it yet. And
Well-
the clerk treasurer, so I'll explain in just a second, but there's been a lot of talk amongst the clerk treasurers. We have like a group email thing that you can ask questions on, and other people respond. And all the other clerk treasurers, or a lot of them said, hey, I've received that, and I haven't. So I'm glad.
Well, it says review document, but when you hit review document,
Let me look at it with you, or let's.
okay, we can look at it after the meeting.
So what it is, there was a opioid settlement.
Oh, now it comes up.
There was an
It didn't come
opioid
up
settlement.
before.
The first money for that has been received, but there's a second part of that. And that is what you've received. Most likely because you're now listed as the president of the council, where before it would have gone to Bill, maybe. So I'm glad it came to you. Let's look at that after the meeting.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly how it, like I say, last time I hit review, it didn't come up.
Sometimes with DocuSign stuff, you need to be really careful not to click on something that may not be a real thing. Oftentimes it's used for phishing, so you have to be really, really careful not to click and open a document or download something that brings a virus or something to your computer. But that is a known thing. I'm glad you got it. Figure it out here in a minute.
Okay.
And that's all that I have, but Jenny still needs to add to that.
Jim forgot to mention Easter egg hunt on April 8th at Sugar Creek Park. 10:30, the bunny gets off the fire truck.
Track.
Yep.
So meet the bunny, and then we'll hunt the Easter eggs out of the field. I knew never.
April 8th, at what time? What time is it, Jenny?
It is 10:30, the bunny arrives, and 11 o'clock the hunt.
Anything else?
Nope.
Next item on our agenda is public comments. You'll have 5 minutes, and you need to give us your name and address for the record.
I'm Chris Warnemont, Cedar Creek Lane, 3911. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, I had a similar poster board that I presented to the group that was here. So I know, Angie, you saw this. I've got a little bit more I'm going to add to it. Clint and Brandy, you were not here, so that's one of the reasons I want to go over this as well as other members of the community. But if you look at the center of this, this is a GIS global imaging survey that's currently out there for Hancock County for the Lennar subdivision, which is on Jen Road. So it's the 240 plus subdivision up on Jen Road. This obviously is an older version because it doesn't have a lot of the build out. This part has been built out. This north section, and I realize in the back here, probably can't see this very well, but the north section of that Lennar subdivision, they are building that as we speak. In fact, I was there last night at, thank you, and at 8:30 at night, and they were still, there's probably 20 or 30 workers finishing up some of those homes. What's interesting about this is when this section over here is known as Section 2, that section has 46 homes. 26 of those are owned by a company called SFH, which is, can't remember what that stands for, FKH, First Key Homes. So that is and if you do a search on that, internet search on that, which this is right next to Vanna White's face here, is the description of that. And that's a foreign entity. It's listed as a foreign partnership. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's owned by Communist Chinese Party. It just means it's out of state, not owned by an Indiana corporation. But it is concerning because who owns FKH and what are those interests? So there's three concerns overall that I want to point out. First of all, the Hancock County Planning Commission, our Planning Commission, our town council did not approve these number of rental homes. So, and that's the section up top there. I did a screen on that this morning, and those are still owned by Lennar Homes. So that's a little update from two weeks ago. Are they going to sell those to FKH? I don't know. It seems to me that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to finish all those homes as quick as possible because they're concerned about the market conditions. As we all know, what's going on there, the costs in some places, the housing market has gone down appreciably already just in the last 6 months. So the second concern here is these corporate landlords. Who are these corporate landlords? What are their interests? Who are they? And the third one is this rate of growth. So these large companies, Lennar, D.R. Horton, et cetera, they're about building these homes as fast as possible. And the concern there is that you outrun the growth of our infrastructure. So it's kind of hard to see this over here, but this is out of the Commonwealth analysis for our sewer plant. And I think this is a page 30 or so, but it shows this very large spike here has to do with this, in part, this anomaly of these Lennar homes. Whereas if you look at, you can't really, maybe Angie and Brandy, you guys can see it, but what I'm describing here is this rate of growth from 1990 is a nice, steady, straight line with the same slope, and that then deviates in 2020 appreciably, in large part to the subdivision, which is unsustainable. So the other concern here is with these large subdivisions or these large Lennar or D.R. Horton type homes is that they can overgrow or they can actually stop growth. So if you look at 52, you got 52, that D.R. subdivision, D.R. Horton subdivision that's just south of 52, as you get to County Line Road. I haven't seen any heavy equipment, any activity out there for months.
They're waiting for water. They have to get water across 52 and under the railroad, because if they have to go under the railroad, it's a federal permit, so it does take a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that seems,
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical of that, maybe, I'm not saying
It
it's not
is.
true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that sounds like a good cover story. You know?
It-
I'm sure they could do other work, but they're not doing anything, so. And again, this gets back to my experience and other people in this room, experience with Davis Homes 15 years ago, when they built a subdivision, they built the first model home, and they went bankrupt, and they pulled out. And for 7 years, we saw an empty field, a grass patch. So that's the concern with these large corporations. So the other thing I want to mention on this is a slide right here. This is not something I didn't have 2 weeks ago, but this has to do with the income, the cost of housing versus the average income. So, kind of hard to see, but this peak right here is 2008. This peak right here is right now. So you can see historically a trend line right there, and we're about 30% above that trend line. So, and this is data from the Census Bureau and from Zillow. So that's the concern there, that there is a market correction in the works of what that data suggests. And it's commonsensical data. That's why I like to look at that kind of stuff. So the action, just to kind of wrap this up, I'm now working this with the Plan Commission. I talked to Angie, I talked to Eric Robb. I guess Ron is still in Florida or be back soon. Brandon, I want to talk to you about this after the meeting, since you're also on the Plan Commission. And what I'd like the Plan Commission to do is write a letter to Lennar Homes and express these concerns. So there'll be more of that going on. So I also am going to reach out to I've also reached out to our contact on the Hancock County Plan Commission. So I'm going to talk to him about these concerns as well. And if anybody has any contacts at the Cumberland Plan Commission, I'm going to reach out to them also.
That's about 5 minutes, Chris.
Okay, all right. So that was, any other ideas, come see me after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comments? We have Boy Scout troop.
I have one.
Okay. Well, I want to recognize your Troop 244 for being here, and if they have any comments or anything to say, they're welcome to it.
Yeah, my name is Rob Bindewald. I live at 5171 South 550 West, and I am the Scoutmaster of this troop. And Scouts, I'd encourage you, if you have any things you want to talk about, this is a good time to do that. There's one thing I talked about with a Scout who is not present, that I said, hey, next time I'm at a meeting, I'll bring it up. He and I have enjoyed cycling in the town. We really are encouraged to see all the new connections popping up with new developments. That's included. Actually, Scouts here have worked on the Pennsy Trail, and I've worked on the Pennsy Trail. And I went once to try to ride on 600 to the Pennsy Trail and vowed never to do it again.
On 600?
On 600. Because there's a turnoff
Yeah.
onto it.
Yeah.
Because it's so narrow with truck traffic at 50 miles an hour. And that is terrifying. In fact, I found the safest road to drive on as a cyclist is 52. And my son, who at the time was 13, agreed. That was the safest place to ride. I did some homework. I looked back, I saw a 2016 comprehensive plan that included an action plan goal of providing pedestrian and bicycle connections to places of interest. I don't know where we stand with that action plan goal, but being as that is many years old, I'm hoping it's still on our radar. And so that is just a humble request as someone who now has to schlep a bike onto the back of a car in order to be able to ride it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Council, my name is Anthony Stone, 3424 South Cordell in Stone's Crossing. I want to offer a word of appreciation. I don't know if you hear that enough. Thank you for what you do, but I also want to turn appreciation this way. I know 2 or so months ago there was a request to help fix some potholes at the Lions Club. And I know it technically wasn't the council's role, but the town did it. So Steve or Jimmy or their crew, I know there were some holes that were filled. We meet as a troop at the Lions Club.
Yeah.
So as a troop that drives in and out, thank you for that. My sweet minivan doesn't bottom out. I appreciate that. And then also another word of appreciation for Jesse and the police department. In another role here in town, I'm a pastor. And we've had the law enforcement as well as Sugar Creek Fire Department at our facility just helping with a couple situations, and they're very good at their job. So you should know. I'm also maybe trying to get myself out of speeding tickets, but that's not for public record. But I want you to know as a council, the law enforcement community continues to do a good job for this town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we're pretty proud of our police department. Any of you scouts have anything to comment on? Or? Well, thanks for coming to the meeting. Is there any other public comments? Okay, we'll have council comments. Andy, have you got any comments?
Oh, well, you know I always have comments.
Good.
I requested for KGR to give us a letter and reply to their conflict of interest with Bill Niemeyer being on the RDC, and they were going to provide us with a letter stating that they said that Bill being on the RDC showed no conflict of interest. I was wondering if you had gotten that yet.
No.
Okay. And then back in January, we had a meeting, and Bill Niemeyer was president of that meeting, and there was a picture of Dale Wagner's telephone that was taken, and I requested for the information on where that came from, since it was presented during a public meeting and is now public record. So that was more than 30 days, and that is an open door violation. And I think Dale said that he turned in a request for that back in January, and he's not gotten anything back either, which is also a violation of the open door policy. So I just want to make the council aware that the information has not been turned over upon request.
And exactly what kind of information are we looking for here, Angie?
Well, since that was presented as factual information in regards to me as a council member, that you have to say where you got the information from, because anybody would be turning in information stating that it's factual information. So we need to know the source and how it was provided to council member Niemeyer, and then presented as factual information during the council meeting. I know that I put in a request for some information, and that has been forwarded to you. You haven't heard back yet, but.
No, I haven't heard that.
I went ahead and volunteered you as the point person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this was requested to the clerk treasurer's office?
It was requested in a public meeting in January, because for Bill, because I don't think that's something that Yvonne has on record here. I think that came from Bill.
Okay, so where would the, I guess my question is, who would give you that record?
Bill, it would have to come from Bill. Unless they gave the information over to Yvonne for town documentation, that would have to come from Bill, or whoever whoever provided it to Bill.
Okay, so, I'm trying to figure out what the course of action here is. Wait till Bill comes to the meeting and ask him?
Yes, we could do it like that, because I'll just keep bringing it up at every meeting until
Okay.
it gets there.
What else you got there, Angie?
I'll pace myself and just leave it at that.
Has our legal counsel been brought into the loop to state that that does have to be provided?
Yes, Doug's aware of it.
That's what I thought. And they're still only attending first meeting of every month?
No clue. I didn't know that was the new rule.
I know we made the request, or I made the request, they be present at every meeting. And because of situations like this, and I don't think we ever got clarification, but I've only missed the last meeting, and I think most of the meetings I've been at, they've not been present, so I'm a little perplexed, I guess.
We've always had counsel.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
I think that may require you to renegotiate the contract, because I think the last contract y'all approved had something in there about that, your one meeting.
Well, I thought it was supposed to be approved on an annual basis, and I haven't seen one in a long time. So I'm not sure
I'll look it up.
where that is, yeah.
Answers for you.
Thank you.
We can always find new counsel, and we're not set in stone.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, okay, I'm not gonna get to my comments yet. Randy,
Okay.
other than that?
Yeah. So just heads up, I will not be at the April 5th meeting. I'm actually gonna take a vacation. So I will not be here. I apologize. I apologize for being a little tardy today. My full-time job called and have to get that first, so I got here as expediently and safely as possible. Thank you for being patient. Boy Scouts, I know this does not go along with the Boy Scout pledge of, like my son recited for years and years, of being prompt or timely or whatever that is. However, huh?
It's not one of the 12 points.
Oh, well, okay. See, that's how much I know. I'm saved, you know. So, some good news. I want to give props to the new Palestine High School show choirs. Both Crimson Heat and Diamond Sensations qualified for the state ISMA show choir finals this Saturday at Franklin Central High School. So they will be performing at 11:30, and the other show choir will be performing around 4 p.m. And I will be there cheering them on. And so just want to give them props and congratulations. Jesse, did Bob, Chief, ask you about an escort?
It's my understanding he's coordinated with the officer on duty.
Perfect.
And also the school resource officer.
Awesome, thank you. So I think we're gonna give him a good police fire escort out of town, hopefully, that morning, so. The last thing I wanted to address, I wasn't at the last meeting, so I'm not sure if it was addressed or not, but there was an email from a taxpayer with a concern about HOA rules versus town ordinances.
It hasn't been on the agenda yet,
Okay,
because I got back with her and told her that I've not seen it on the agenda yet, so, and I would let her know.
okay, all right. So Clint, there's an ongoing question or discussion on what happens when there's HOA rules, and then there's like a change from a management company to residents, and then what if they want to change rules, but they conflict with a town ordinance, like what happens? So, can they or can't they? And I think our legal
Well,
counsel probably needs to be here to address
The
that.
last few subdivisions, we've actually asked for commitments from them that meet our code.
Mhm.
Now, the covenants are a totally different thing.
Right,
The covenants are what the people that buy those lots agree to.
right.
And whether or not that meets the town code,
Mhm.
it's, in
Yeah.
theory, it would be a tighter
Right,
code, but
Right.
that doesn't really mean it is. So I would think that would be on a case-to-case basis, but, I mean, there's laws that, you just can't make a code and it doesn't conform to any laws, you know what I mean?
right.
well, you can,
Yeah.
but then changing those covenants and those subdivisions that are covenants that were put in, when the subdivision was platted, they can change those at their meetings with like a 2/3 vote, or I don't know exactly what it is, but it'd probably be in their covenants. I don't know. I've been part of organizations that you need a 2/3 vote to change something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that was like fees and stuff,
And that's what was quoted in this, that it takes a 2/3 vote to change this or that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's something we would need our legal counsel. Hopefully April 5th they will
But,
be present. Maybe we can get it on the agenda.
but we wouldn't have any recourse against like homeowners fees or anything like that.
Right.
We don't have any kind of, I don't think so. Do you, Jim?
No, it is a Stone's Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we've dealt with them a couple times. The issue has that, the planning, they approved a subdivision, and you know as well as I do, is when a subdivision is brought forth for planning, you have constituents from other neighborhoods that weigh in that pretty heavily, so if it's decided on with that weight, and now we change it, do they have a say, do other neighborhoods have a say-so? That's how it was approved, so. I'm not sure if that has to go to planning as well.
You're beyond my expertise there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's a good question.
as far as fees and stuff, those are things that would have to be changed by a vote, of the homeowners.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, other things, I don't know.
Yeah, there's other things on
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay. And Boy Scouts, I'm curious, are you here tonight for one of the badges? Is this what badge is it? Citizenship in the community. Okay. So you picked us, huh? Well, thank you for picking us. And keep in mind, if any of you are future Eagle Scouts, hopefully all of you are, Eagle Scout projects, the town may always have ideas or needs. My son did the pocket park down here on Jim, and some of you may have volunteered for Brandon's project way back when, but keep in mind your own community when you're looking at ideas, and drive around, look around, and see things that you have an idea to work on, you'd like to see here, like to change, and come to us, with any ideas, or come to Jim, actually, right, Jim?
Brandy, we do have a trash day coming up, so
Yeah.
we'd like to plan, so, yeah.
Oh, trash pickup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleanup day.
We haven't decided yet, but we want it to be a nice warm day, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be someday.
So
It'd
there'll
on
be
Saturday.
Late April's better than early May.
Yeah.
May.
Yeah.
So lots of volunteer opportunities potentially, and then Eagle Scout project ideas. So come to us if you have any thoughts or things you'd like to see. We can't pave bike path all the way down 52 for you, Rob. I'm sorry, but we can.
I have no problem with 52.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, 600. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah. But yeah, the comprehensive plan, he brought up a good point tonight. Sometimes we need folks to look at and say, hey, your comprehensive plan 7 years ago, this was a priority. Where are we?
Well,
And that's a very good point.
We have a trail, a
Yes, we
trails
do.
plan too. and
Yeah, comprehensive
all that-
countywide trails.
I don't
Yeah.
know exactly.
I saw that. Step one was that.
Yes, yes. So thank you, for bringing those things up and, accountability. We appreciate that. So, yeah.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? Brandy,
Of
would
course.
you speak about what happened to Clint yesterday?
Huh.
Oh, yes, that's very important. Thank you.
Yes.
So, our council president, Clint Bledsoe, was honored by the New Palestine Area Chamber of Commerce. He was chosen as the 2022 Citizen of the Year for the town of New Palestine. So he was nominated by the board of directors for his 16 years of service on our town council, which is remarkable in itself, to serve 4
I'm still
terms.
alive.
And he's still alive. He has fought hard for that too, over the years. And so he was honored for his years of service. As he currently states, this is his last term, year of service, and at any event in town honoring our community, fairs, festivals, concerts, Main Street, Boy Scout events, Girl Scout events, musicals, athletic events, volunteers. Clint is there, often volunteering, donating, and just giving back to the community. And many people don't know when he came here in 1990, he immediately really started coming to meetings here and was very quickly joining boards. And then not long after that, he became part of our town council within about 15 years, I guess, around then. So he's given a lot to our community, supported our community, and we joke that he loves it so much that he's owned not one but two houses right next to Frosty Boy. So talking about loving your community and keeping it here. So, but our chamber is grateful for his contributions and his service to our New Pal community, and so they honored him with an award yesterday, and I got to present it, and that was super cool. So, and he had about 20 family members there to support him, and it was a surprise. So you can imagine when he keeps seeing his siblings and his grandchildren and his children walking in, and we kept it a surprise, he was thinking,
I was thinking I'm in trouble now.
yeah. So, so anyway, let's give a hand to Councilman Bledsoe. Okay, now he's been called up 2 days in a row. He's done now.
Well, thank you, Brandy.
You are welcome.
I appreciate it.
Sure. And I'm done now.
You know what I said from the start, though? I think it must have been a slow year.
Now you know what it's like to be People Magazine's cover.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
What else you got there, Brandy?
that's it. Thank you.
I had one thing. I was trying to read through all the 4 documents for the COVID project. And I don't know about anybody else on this board, but I don't feel comfortable with our legal representation being the same as the bond representation. That's basically our legal representation is their legal representation. And our financial representative is their financial representative. So I don't know if anybody else thinks we need to hire a different lawyer to look at this and tell us what's going on, because I don't think having the same lawyer for them and us is what we need on this subject.
Oh, Clint, you know, I voiced my concern on this.
Because these are complicated documents.
Yes, they are.
And another thing would be, who would we hire to look at?
I have a couple people in mind that I reached out to when I was trying to get answers and I wasn't getting them from the town attorney.
I mean, I'd like an independent counsel to give us a synopsis of what's going on here, because they've added stuff and subtracted stuff, and now that the lift station's not in there, or it is in there, or nobody knows. And I'd like to hire a legal counsel that's not associated with this bond issue to look at it for us. And I make that motion.
I second that motion.
All in favor, vote by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Now, the only thing is, who do we want to be the contact on this? And I'm proposing to make Angie the contact on this.
I have no objection to that.
I have no objection to that.
But, I mean, the motion was to at least get a synopsis of exactly what we're doing there. So I don't know a timeline on that, but, and I don't know if we need to set a timeline or, but that wasn't in the motion, so. I guess we'll wait for Angie to find us a lawyer.
Well, I think I saw an email exchange with Bosma and Bekovich coming to the agenda. I think it was in May. Is that when we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get something together way before that.
I mean, my opinion was it didn't even have to come to a meeting. It was just, I would just like to see a synopsis of what's cooking there, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And what, you know, exactly what that says that we're gonna do and what they're gonna do. And because in one place, it says the new ordinance, once you pass the new ordinance, the old ordinance goes into effect. I don't understand that. So, I mean, why would you have a new ordinance if the old ordinance, as soon as you pass the new ordinance, the old ordinance is gonna go into effect?
Okay. I will get those answers for you.
But that's the only thing I had. Thank you, Angie. If there's nothing else, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Adjourned.